Hi, welcome to our backyard. My name is Chef John, and we're going to be talking about the first thing here in hand, and that's a barbecue topper. Your barbecue topper is going to be your best friend in your backyard. Anything that you can think of doing on that side burner or in your stove top on the side, you can do on this barbecue topper. What's great about the barbecue topper, it actually has holes on it, so you're going to get that flare from the bottom, and you're going to get that grill flavor. It's great for fajita meat, fajita vegetables. You'll see us later on working here with spinach. We're going to throw spinach on that topper. We're also going to put some colored greens on there, some teardrop tomatoes. Right now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and grab some of these bell peppers. I did not add any oil to this. I did not add any salt, any pepper. If you added a lot of oil to this, what you're going to do on that grill is you're going to create a flare up. You're going to create a grease fire, and this is going to produce a great film on your food that's going to taste like gasoline. It's basically burning your oil on there. So what you want to do is grab your bell peppers, just throw them on there real quick, and that is a sear burner on the right hand side. And that sear burner gets up to about 900 degrees, and it will be giving you extreme high heat. It's also great for searing your steaks on that right hand side. We're going to go ahead and grab these bell peppers and just toss them around real quick. Let them brown off. While that's going, we're going to talk about our pit mitt here. And this pit mitt is a great device to be picking up stuff that's straight off that grill. If you notice, I did say this grill side burner right here is going up to about 800 degrees. This pit mitt here takes about 475, but just to show you how well it works, I'm going to go ahead and grab my hand, stick it on that sear burner. If you notice, it's extremely high. It's going to, please do not try this at home. It's going to go ahead and get some heat there. I'm going to feel it in about maybe 8 seconds, maybe 9 seconds. And I'm actually feeling that right now. And if you notice, it starts smoking, but my hand's still okay. And I still have my skin on there, right? Which is a good thing. The toss is about, they're browning off. While that's going, what we're going to do here, we're going to go ahead and start slicing our zucchini, squash, and eggplant. For your zucchini and squash and eggplant, what you want to do, you don't want to cut them too thin. So what you want to do is you want to go in there and you want to get more of a thicker piece of squash, zucchini, and eggplant. So you cut the tips off this way, it's nice and flat, and you can get both sides. Out of one whole zucchini and squash, I can get about 4 portions of this. And what's great about this is all you have to do is throw it on that sear burner and sear it on both sides, so you can still have that consistency of that crunch on there. You want that bite to it, so you want to cut them pretty much nice and even. Like you said, you can definitely cut these up. Now we're going to go back here and take care of our bell peppers real quick. And all you're going to do is give them a nice little char on here. And also, what's great about this barbecue topper is how easy it is to clean it. To clean it, all you have to do is bring it up to heat, too high heat, and then it's going to ash up, and you want to grab your grill brush, and preferably something like a brass brush, because it's going to be a little bit more gentle than putting a stainless steel brush on there. And you scrape the gray ashes off the top and the bottom, let it cool off, throw it in that sink, give it a 1, 2, 3, sanitize it, and you're set. One important thing about that barbecue topper, do not add any oil to it before you throw your vegetables or your food on there, because if you throw in olive oil, or if you grab the pan for grilling and you spray it down, you're going to end up having blotches of black stuff on there, which in that point, when you put your food on there, you turn it around and you're basically cleaning that barbecue topper with your food, producing a bitter product and a horrible kind of off flavor. So make sure you coat your food with some oil depending on the food that you're throwing on there. For example, the bell peppers, if you notice how beautiful they look, no oil, they don't need it. They produce essential oil, so you really don't need any oil on there. When you're going to notice, we're not going to put any oil on our spinach later on, nor our mushrooms. So to this mixture, all we're going to do is add a little salt to here, add a little olive oil, and toss that about. That part of our first vegetable dish is ready to go. So we'll set it up properly right there, and we're going to talk about our squash and zooks again. So here's a trick to vegetables. Normally, when it comes to squash, zucchini, eggplant, mushrooms, asparagus, people will grab these vegetables and drop them in a marinade. Normally that marinade is going to be kind of like a vinaigrette. It's going to consist of olive oil. It's going to consist of balsamic, maybe a little honey in there, maybe some Dijon mustard. But when you drop these things into a marinade, they soak up that marinade. These are like, it's like a sponge. And you drop it in there and you're disrespecting your product. You got to love your product. So what you want to do is you want to do this reverse marination in a sense. So what I will be doing is no oil on here, no marinade, because if we drop it in that marinade, this soaks up all that oil, all that sugar. And once you add this coming out of that marinade to that grill on high heat, you're going to get a grease fire because of all the oil that it's soaked up. You're also going to have that sugar burning in a heartbeat on high heat because sugar does burn. And they're going to become very soggy because they soak up all that liquid. So what I do is I pre-coat this with the proper oil. And you're going to notice that I'm not going to be using olive oil because olive oil has a very low smoke point. Olive oil starts burning at about 365, 375. At that smoke point, your olive oil turns into all the bad fats. Not only does it turn into all the bad fats, it's going to become bitter because it's burning at that smoke point. So what I do use is something that has a little higher smoke point. Grapeseed oil or avocado oil. I know grapeseed oil and avocado oil are good in antioxidants. They're good in omega fats. And another thing, they do have that higher smoke point, which at some points, your grapeseed oil is going to start burning at about 475, 500 degrees. Your avocado about 520. Avocado is a good source to use on vinaigrettes and dressing because it's the creaminess that it has. Now, grapeseed and avocado, they're very neutral in flavor. So that's why I like using it because you can use it in all cuisines, not just olive oil. Your olive oil is great to top on pastas, to make vinaigrettes, to make your dressings, but not for high intense grilling. So we're going to grab some grapeseed oil here and just coat them. Just a little bit goes a long way. And we're going to grab the other side here and do the same thing to the other side. That's all the oils there. And normally if it has enough oil from the bottom, you can use that to coat the top. And again, a little bit goes a long way with this oil. So now that we coat this with oil, we are going to be using this little pepper grinder we have. It's a spicy garlic grinder that we sell. It's from Dean Jacobs. And this stuff is great not only on your table instead of your black peppercorn grinder, but it's also good on your pizza. It has red pepper flakes in there. It has some salt in there. So it's already pre-seasoned and lots of predominant flavor in garlic. So something like this would be great on your pizza, on top of your chicken, on top of your vegetables. And it just goes very well with what we're trying to produce here. We're going to go ahead and add some of this garlic grinder on here. Make sure you get love on both sides. So we're going to flip these over and go ahead and give it some love on both sides. Keep that in mind. So now that that's good to go, we're going to go ahead and grab these. And again, extreme high heat. We're going to drop them back on that barbecue topper. Now at this point, all we're looking for is a caramelization. We want this to brown off on both sides, basically searing your vegetables on that sear station, which really works very, very well. And all we're going to do is close this grill for a second because we want extreme high heat. While our vegetables are going back there, we're going to work on our vinaigrette. And we're going to be doing an Herbes de Provence balsamic vinaigrette. So for your balsamic vinaigrette, what you want to start off first is with a little bit of honey, just a touch of honey in there. And then we're going to grab some Dijon mustard. And once your Dijon is in there, we're going to add just a touch of balsamic vinegar. Once your balsamic's in there, we go back to the grill. Right now, we got to check on our veggies to make sure how, you see that? That's all you want on them. You want a quick browning on them. And right now, because it's on high heat, you're still going to have that crunch to them, that texture. If you slice these too thin, first of all, you're going to have a tendency of having these overcook on the grill, and you're going to have way too many on that grill that you have to worry about without burning the other one or the other one. And on top of that, if it's ready, if your party says they're going to get there at 8 o'clock and they get there like at 9 o'clock at night and these are already out and you slice them too thin, the integrity of the texture is going to go into mush. It's going to become mushy and it's going to be overcooked. This way, you can have them sitting there. You can do these a night in advance. You can do these cold or at room temperature or hot. So that's another great thing about these. And they'll remain, it'll keep that texture. So we're going to close this and let the other side kind of brown off properly. We'll go back to our vinaigrette. Now, to our vinaigrette, we're going to add some herbs de Provence. We carry this here at our store. It does come a little bit more coarse. What we like doing to these is throwing them in the grinder, your coffee grinder, and pulverizing. This way, if you put this on your food, later on when you're driving home after dinner, you don't have a piece of fennel stuck in your teeth, right? So that's why we grind it. It pulverizes it, and it makes all the flavors mingle. In here, we do have rosemary, savory, fennel seed, lavender flowers, marjoram, thyme, basil, soybean oil. We're going to add a little bit of this right in there, just to add some flavor. We're going to add a little salt to this, just a touch. Then we're going to mix this up here, and then we're going to start adding some olive oil to this. And you want to add that olive oil in slowly because you really want to emulsify this really nicely here. And you don't want your vinaigrette to break. What I mean by breaking means that all the liquid and all the oils separate from one another, and you're going to have 2 layers of dressing, basically. So once you have this emulsified, it's nice and thick, you can definitely put this aside, give it a quick taste. By this time, our vegetables in the back are ready to go. Oh, that is beautiful. So at this point, we're going to remove these off the grill real quick. And you see both sides are very well caramelized. And they still have a nice little crunch to them. See that? Now, this is where we start plating our first dish. And this is where we coat the vinaigrette onto our vegetables, not that marinade again. So we're going to grab our vinaigrette here, just coat these really nice. Make sure you give both sides some loving, so make sure if one side gets some, make sure the other side gets some. So flip these over. To our bell peppers, I'm not going to add any type of vinaigrette to it because we want balance here. Other things that you could put in this dish are asparagus. You can grill some corn on there. You can definitely blister up some tomatoes or put some grilled spinach on the bottom. You can also put a piece of fish on top of it if you like. This can be a main course. So we're going to start plating up here. A little bit of bell peppers there. Gonna make them look all fancy, stand them up a bit to give it some height here. Put a piece of eggplant right in there. Off with a little bit of goat cheese. For your goat cheese, what you want to do is freeze it. Normally, what I hate about some dishes like salads, like beet salads that normally have goat cheese in there, there's a glob of goat cheese on there, which is going to overpower your plate with too much goat cheese. If I want that flavor of goat cheese, then I'd go to a cheese plate and then order that cheese for that plate because I want that goat cheese flavor. However, this is just going to give it a little flavor and not overpower those flavors of your vegetables and your vinaigrette. So you grab your goat cheese. This is herb goat cheese, and you want to grab a microplaner. Your goat cheese, freeze it. And it is hard and solid right now. So you can go ahead and microplane this right over your plate, and it's going to fall like a nice little snowflake right on top, kind of like the San Bernardino Mountains in the wintertime. And it's going to give you just enough flavor of that goat cheese. You're going to be nice and all set here. We are going to finish it off with a little bit of olive oil. And then hit it up with a little bit of Maine sea salt from Stonewall Kitchen. And your vegetable salad is good to go. Thank you very much, and I hope you guys enjoy the tips. Happy grilling. Take care. Bye.